I'm Dr. David Bernstein. Welcome back to our series, The iModes in Action. In today's video, you're going to see how to analyze situations using the iModes. It's a very simple and very, very useful technique. It's actually kind of an adaptation of something in cognitive behavior therapy called a functional analysis. You start by asking the patient to describe a situation, and then you go mode by mode, essentially looking at the sequence of modes, the kind of escalating sequence of modes that's involved in whatever kind of difficult situation the patient is experiencing. It's an extremely useful and versatile technique. You can use it to analyze all kinds of situations, including situations, involving really problematic behaviors like, drug use, aggression, and all kinds of things. So interpersonal problems. So enjoy today's video. Hey, Ron.
Hi.
Hey. So how did things go last week?
Yeah, but the usual, actually. Some fights again.
Some fights again with Emma?
No.
Yeah. So, when was the most recent one?
I think it was 2 days ago. It was. I just wanted to go out with friends, and when I told her that, and she was just looking so sad and disappointed. That triggers, it's like guilt tripping me, and then I got really angry.
So this is the same kind of situation that you've been telling me about, right? So, actually, maybe it's a good idea for us to try to take a look at what goes on in these fights more carefully. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
Because it seems to me that that's the thing, or at least right now, that's bothering you the most. Am I right?
Yeah.
So let's really try to concentrate on that and see if we can get some progress with that, okay?
Yeah.
Because I really see, you're suffering, This is really not a cool situation. And maybe if we can help you to kind of start to understand more and get in touch with more of what's going on, then we can kind of start to look into some solutions. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. So listen, why don't we use the cards again? And maybe what you can do would be to just tell me, maybe about this most recent fight, since it's probably still pretty fresh in your mind. Just tell me from the beginning how it started, and then we'll kind of try to analyze it using these cards. Kind of try to look at, what's the sequence? What mode is the first one that gets triggered in you that you recognize, and then how does it escalate from there? Okay, so why don't you just start by telling me, what happened in the beginning? How did it all start?
Yeah, like I said, that I see her being disappointed and looking sad, in a way that it's obviously making me feel bad, and then I just get angry.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know what she's doing, and this triggers. Yeah.
Okay, so it starts when you see that hurt look on her face.
Yeah.
It looks sad, and you have this feeling I know what she's up to. It's a kind of guilt-inducing thing that she's doing.
Yeah.
And then what do you feel then? What does that trigger in you?
Anger at first, for sure. I feel angry at her for doing that, for why is she making me feel bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take a look through the cards then, and why don't you take the one that you're just describing, that first mode that you notice in yourself. You see that, guilt-inducing face, and then you say to yourself, why is she doing that? She knows how that makes me feel. And, and take the card that shows how you're feeling right at that moment.
Okay. So that's... there it is. Definitely this one.
Yeah, the angry child mode. Yeah, we've seen this one before, right?
Yeah.
So, listen, when, this card, this mode, usually it has to do with feelings of frustration and also of unfairness.
Yeah.
It's kind of a feeling like this is unfair.
Yeah.
Is that how it feels to you when you see that, face of hers looking hurt and guilt-inducing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, both frustration and yeah.
And feeling like somehow, why is she doing this to me? This isn't fair, this isn't right, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then how does it proceed from there? Because it starts with, that angry child side getting triggered, feeling it's unfair, it's not right, I'm feeling frustrated, it's happening again, millionth time. And then where does it go from there? What's the next thing that happened?
Yeah, then I think I start feeling guilty or like doubting if it's like wrong what I'm doing.
Okay.
Or
So almost immediately when you notice yourself feeling so angry, already those guilt feelings start creeping in.
well, I guess first I also no, I think I start feeling guilty after I've gone too far. Like I first get angry and then I also like really start lashing out on her and like I start saying mean things and maybe go too far, and then I start feeling guilty about going too far.
Okay, that makes sense. So you start with this feeling of frustration and anger, and it's not fair, and then you start lashing out at her.
Yeah.
And, and saying mean things to her.
Yeah.
And, do you know what side that is, what mode that is? I don't know if that's one that we've really looked at. I think I have an idea of what it might be. If you don't mind, maybe I can show you what I think it is. Is that okay with
sure.
you? Okay. Is it this one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's really bad. Okay, this is the Boolean attack mode, huh? So you're kind of going on the attack, and when you say it's really bad, tell me what you mean, because I just noticed something just now. When you say it's really bad, what are you feeling right now when you look at that card?
Yeah, it's like it's also saying like aggressive, threatening, intimidating. I'm just not proud of the things I say to her. Like it can be really mean things, like why don't you get more friends yourself or something? And I know I'm just like not at the moment, but directly after, I know I'm just hurting her.
Because you know what I noticed just now, Ron? Even just looking at this card, the picture, and then looking at what's written on the back about bullying and intimidating, I think I heard that that punitive parent voice, just that self-critical voice. Like even just when you looked at that, I thought just in the moment, right then and there, I'm wondering, is that what happened? That just then, right that moment, that self-critical side of you got triggered? Felt really guilty about having this side?
Yeah, and now again, just like after this, directly.
Yeah.
And also now seeing it and, like...
Right. And so here, it's like in the room, we're actually seeing in a way the same sequence that you're describing in the fight that you have with Emma, right? So, that you start with the anger about the unfairness of it all, and the frustration, and then you go on the attack. And I think that going on the attack, is a way of coping. My guess is that you're feeling so frustrated and helpless in that moment of anger that kind of lashing out is just kind of your way of trying to cope with the situation. I know you feel bad about it, I can understand that, but I think it's your way of coping in the moment, and then immediately that, that self-critical voice kicks in, just like it did here in this session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you notice that with Emma, that suddenly after you've lashed out at her, you're starting to beat up on yourself and feel really bad about it.
Yeah, and then I want to make it up to her, or like sometimes, yeah.
You want to make it up to her.
Yeah.
Can you describe that a little bit more?
Yeah, because I feel guilty and I want to make her feel. I realize how mean I've been, and then I want to make it up, like comfort her, make her like feel better, because she's also getting really sad or hurt about these things.
So you see her, she's upset, you feel guilty, you want to make it up to her. And then what happened actually during the fight? Like once it reached this point where you're feeling guilty, what happened? What happened about you going out with your friends? What did you end up doing?
Yeah, then I stay with her.
Yeah.
Because that's then what she wants, and I think that's then the way to make it up.
I see. So you canceled your plans with your friends for that evening and you stayed in.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is that this side of you, the side of you that then out of your guilt feels like you have to put your own needs aside, attend to her needs, cancel your plans, do what she wants. Is that this side, this more, compliant side?
Yeah. It actually is.
Yeah. So you recognize this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's like she kind of has to say in things then, like it has to go her way to kind of make it up or something. And I like the picture shows, actually, I put myself a bit below.
Yeah, right, putting yourself below her, and then she kind of is then kind of dictating what's going to happen. She's the one who gets to choose.
Yeah, like,
kind of like that.
Not in extreme ways, but
So in a more subtle way.
Yeah.
And then what happened for the rest of the evening? How did it go from there? You canceled your plans. You decided you better attend to her needs and put your own needs aside. So what happened then for the rest of the evening?
Yeah, it's not a very nice evening. Like,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like for you?
Well, on one hand, I felt still frustrated that I couldn't do what I wanted to do initially.
Yeah.
And also with her, it was like not nice, because we had this fight and it was not like there was no solution or something. So I was still kind of angry.
Right. So you still were left with that anger and that frustration.
Yeah.
And you felt like you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like from there on you were screaming, you were yelling at her, you were attacking her. So how did that manifest itself? Like, you're feeling inside still angry and frustrated.
Yeah.
But how did it come across, like, between the two of you?
Well, definitely not like really fighting. Like, more, I kept it for myself, kind of like, because we already had the fight and it was so shit. And
I'm wondering, is it possible, Ron, that then you were in this mode? This is what's called the angry protector, like more internal anger, not expressing it openly, but kind of sending out a little bit of those nonverbal signals that let her know that you're not happy and kind of keeping your distance, kind of like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what I see with the whole pattern, and I think it's very sad for you, that it starts out with a feeling of anger at this repeating situation, which feels like there's no way out, and then you try to cope, and I agree, it's not the best thing to go on the attack, but still it's an attempt to try to deal with a situation where you feel helpless. And then you immediately feel very bad about it. You try to make it up to her, You put your own needs aside, and you let her kind of, be the one who, gets to choose. But what it leads to in the end is a kind of frustration that's still bottled up inside, and distance in your relationship, right? And so then it's no wonder, because it's not like that anger goes away, that then when the next thing happens, it's going to get triggered again, and the cycle's going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
So does this all look familiar to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have your pattern right here. And you know something, even though it must be kind of a lot to take this in, the good thing about seeing the pattern is then we can start to help you to intervene.
Yeah, it makes it very clear.
Yeah, we can say, because it's kind of like a chain reaction in a way. And then we can work together to help you figure out how to break the chain. Because it's really lousy that you have to keep playing this thing out over and over again. I don't want you to have to keep doing this. It's not fun. Not fun for you. Not fun in any way.
And then also not for her.
Not fun for either of you. And it's not good for your relationship. But now that we know what the pattern is, we can start to go and look at how to break this chain.
Okay.
Yeah? Good.